Master Your Mindset Radio, Episode 12.
Welcome to Master Your Mindset Radio, the show where we empower you to conquer limiting beliefs and transform your world with your gifting and purpose. Now for your host, Elizabeth Nader.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode. I just got back from Southern Florida from about a week down there to see family. And something kind of funny happened that made me think of my book, that made me think of talking to you guys about it, that made me think about mindset. It's a simple thing, but it was sort of had a profound influence. We went to see a friend while we were down there who has a car collection, and he has this amazing garage. You can eat off the floor. It's perfectly sparkling clean, everything in its place, a place for everything. And he has car lifts and all sort of things to work on his cars and keep them all in perfect condition. So it was really fun to see that. It was like right out of a showroom. But one of his collector's cars was a Ferrari. He has an older red Ferrari, and I don't remember what year. So sorry to you car buffs. I can't do it justice. I really should have remembered that. But it was sort of retro looking. It was older. It was in perfect condition. So we spent a lot of time looking at it, talking about it, and had a good time at his house. Well, for the following, I would say 4 to 5 days, I kept seeing red Ferraris everywhere. Everywhere we went, I would see a red Ferrari. And at first, I was waving, thinking, oh, there's John. He took his Ferrari out, and I would wave and pass by, and nope, it wasn't him. And I would do it again, and my daughter just started laughing at me. She said, that's not him. And no, that's not him. It never was him. He was not out there. If he was, I didn't run into him. But the point is, I kept seeing red Ferraris everywhere. So what does that have to do with mindset? Well, I write about that in the book a little bit. I write about the fact that what you focus on expands. What you focus on, you draw towards yourself. What you focus on, you notice more and more. And I tell people to take a little exercise like a car and a color, like start thinking about yellow Jeeps and you'll start seeing them everywhere. Now, listen, I don't see red Ferraris every day. Neither do you, I'm sure. In the area in Florida where I was, you tend to see more exotic cars, and definitely you have a higher chance of seeing expensive cars like that. But in this case, because I had spent a good amount of time focusing on this red Ferrari, talking about this red Ferrari, thinking about his cars, having all of these interactions with his car, sitting in his car, whatever. I started to see that car everywhere because it was on my mind. And so my little exercise that I'd always given to people when I teach and talk about in my book became real again for me right there. That what we focus on, what we think about, what we spend our mental cycles on, the things that we spend time thinking about, spend time doing, those things in our life expand. And that is a powerful concept, because if I think about, participate in, or focus on negative things, that's what expands in my life. That's what I give my energy to. But when I think about, focus on, spend time on positive things, then that is what you see showing up in my life. And it's as simple and powerful as noticing a car make, model, and color all around you, or as profound as seeing the best in your spouse consistently, no matter what they're doing, and then all of a sudden that's actually happening in your life. I mean, it's not a matter of mind control. It's not magic. It's not some kind of fairy dust, but it's really all about what you focus on, you have. And it's about what things that you think about. And I think it's one of the key elements of mindset, because mindset is all about the one thing we can't control. And what is that one thing? The one thing is our mind, our thoughts, what we focus on. This is the only thing we can control, is our brain. We have no control over anything else. So when we exercise that control and we decide to focus on things that are good, we decide to focus on things that are life affirming, that help us, things we want to see in our life, then that's what we start to see around us. We have what we say, we have what we think, all all of those things are true. And it's pretty astounding when you see that in a simple example, as happened to me in Florida with seeing red Ferraris all of a sudden everywhere I turned. So what in our life do we need to attract to us? What in our life do we need to focus on? What do we need to take a more positive spin on, and how will that change the way we experience life? I think about this in terms of relationships. And I think when it comes to the marriage relationship, I think a lot of times as the years go by, we have a tendency to see and focus on the negative things in our spouse. That's just human nature. We all do it. The first things that attract you to each other, a lot of times those differences end up being the things that really get on your nerves or bother you, or you have a hard time adjusting to. So we spend so much time focusing on looking at thinking about the things we don't like, the things that aren't working in a relationship, the negative traits of another person. But if we were to turn that around instead and began to project on that person positive traits, began to look for, expect, and focus on the things that you are hoping for in that relationship or from that person, without manipulating them, without telling them, without trying to bring that out of them, but say to yourself, you know what, I choose to see this person in a different light. I choose to see this person in the way that I need them to be for me. I choose to see them in a positive way, in maybe the way that you saw them when you first met. But it's not about hoping they'll change. It's not about trying to manipulate a change to occur. It's more about focusing on the good things and watching those expand, because you only have so much space in your mind to ponder things and think about things in any given moment. You only have so much room. And if you focus those things positively, then you don't tend to sit and think about the negative aspects of a relationship. The same is true for goals that we have in our career or in our business. If we focus on the hopes and dreams and goals and visions we have for success and expansion, then that's generally what we tend to pull to us and walk in is the actual realization of those expansive dreams. But if we focus on and think about the negativity and think about the mistakes or the failures, then that's what expands in our life. What you focus on expands. And I think that might be a quote from Oprah. I'm not really sure. I believe I heard her say that once, but she may have gotten it from someone else. It doesn't really matter. It does make sense, and it's true in all of our lives. What you focus on expands. So the things that you want in your life, those are the things you focus on. But do we do that, or do we tend to point out, complain about, commiserate about, focus on, and wrestle only with the things we don't like and the things that we don't want, and all that energy that we spend and all that focus that we spend on the negative things? So we look around us and we say, well, why am I surrounded by negativity? Why am I surrounded by things in my life that I don't want? Because that's all you're talking about. Because that is all you're focusing about. And therefore, your thoughts and your words are building your world. I think I've said before somewhere, I don't know if it's in the book or somewhere else in my Master Your Mindset book, but the experiences you have today are the result of the thoughts and the words that you spoke yesterday. It's simple and it's profound, because we create our experiences with our words and our thoughts. And of course, as you know from the Mind of Man chart that I put in Master Your Mindset, our words come from our thoughts, obviously. So it starts with our thought life and ends up in words that we speak and actions that we take that all follow the thoughts that we have. So we have to go to the level of the thoughts. We have to deal with our thought life. And so we look around us and we see the life that we're living in is a result of the thoughts that we've had, because that affects the words that we say and therefore the choices that we make and therefore the actions that we take. So what you focus on definitely expands. So this is something for you to take to each area of your life and say to yourself, how am I focusing on what I want versus what I don't want in each area? Those areas are relationships. Those areas are the area of money, the area of parenting, your career, your job, your business, your maybe hobbies, maybe things that you do to help other people, what charitable work, whatever it is. What am I focusing on in those areas of my life? How about your emotional health? How about your physical health? How about what you're doing spiritually to keep yourself well? What are you focusing on in those areas? And if you're honest with yourself and you look at that, then you will see, well, that's why I have these things, for better or for worse. And I think it's helpful almost to write down these categories in your life and kind of grade yourself. And let's say you put down relationships with others and you say, well, I'm at about a 60%. You say, well, what is the difference? What is the delta between me being at about a 60% rate of being comfortable with and happy with, where I'm at with my relationships versus being at 100%? What is that difference? What does that 40% look like? And what are those things that I can focus on and draw to myself to improve how I feel about the relationships in my life? And you apply that to each category in your life. You apply that to your job. You apply that to your hopes and dreams, your financial situations, your health. The truth is that we cannot expect to have those things in our life, positive, wonderful, life-affirming, things that expand us. We can't expect to have those things if we don't focus on them. And we can't expect to get rid of the negativity, the bad relationships, the job that doesn't work for us, the career that's stalled, the money situation that isn't healed, the health that's poor. We can't expect to get rid of those things unless we stop pulling them into our life. We are at the helm of that ship. That is our responsibility. And I believe that God tells us that time and time again, that you have what you think, you have what you say. The things around you are there because you have spoken them into existence or you have focused on them. I don't want to continue to focus on things that are negative. I don't want to continue to focus on things that aren't full of life, that are just full of death, negativity, that are downers, that are the opposite of where I want to be in my life, that are full of criticism. I want to see my life continue to expand in the light with things that are positive, with things that bring those around me up a level as I continue to pursue my purpose. But that requires that we focus on the right things. So take my story of the red Ferrari to heart. Try it yourself. I mean, I don't mean to be cute about, try a little focus on a white convertible and you'll see white convertibles everywhere. It is true that it happens and it happens without you trying to manipulate it. But it's the greater message that's so important, the greater message of mindset and how powerful our minds are, and the greater message of the fact that what you focus on, you have in your life. What you focus on expands around you. So no one else can make that choice for you. You have to decide to focus on the things that you want. For some of us, that's a big switch. Some people have a very hard time not pointing out constantly what's wrong. A lot of times that's a mindset of, well, hey, if I show somebody what's wrong, they can fix it. If I continue to focus on things that are wrong, I can fix them. Yes, that's true. When you find a problem, you can fix it. But it's all in how you approach it. It's all in how you attack it. If it's constantly coming from an attitude and a focus of negativity and what's wrong instead of what could be right, then all you'll continue to do is attract that negativity, and that will expand in your life. So I hope that you can take this and apply it today. I want you to think about the things in your life that you want to see come to pass. And maybe if they're not here yet, why is that? Do you need to start to focus on those things that will take your life where it needs to go in purpose and in destiny, and drop for once and for all some of this negative thinking and criticism and focusing on what you don't have instead of focusing on what you do have. We all know gratitude is so important, and gratitude really is all about focusing on what you have, and then that expands. So gratitude is at the root of this idea of what you focus on expands in your life. So start with gratitude. That's the best tool you have for focusing on what is working in your life and what you'd like to see expand. And then as you start to think that way, you'll notice that the negative things are going to start to melt away. Go see more red Ferraris, right? So guys, there's more on this and other techniques to master your mindset in my book that's on Amazon, Master Your Mindset the Master's Way. If you haven't gotten it yet, definitely go get it. It's a life-changing read. It gives you so many tools and ideas to uplevel your life and continue to challenge you. Really, we're never done mastering our mindset. All of us have to do it on a daily basis. And I believe the exercises in there will help you start to see breakthroughs in your life, and share that with other people. If you've read the book already, leave me a review. And hey, make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Every week, Tuesday mornings, we come out about 7 a.m. Eastern time with just a little tidbit of inspiration for you or an interview that's interesting. So go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss anything. And finally, come find me on social media. I'd love to see you on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and share with me ideas that you have, experiences, and things that breakthroughs you've had as a result of mastering your mindset. So thanks, guys. Have a great week and focus on those things that you want to see in your life.
Thank you for listening to Master Your Mindset Radio. Before you go, if you want to be part of a free online community of like-minded individuals for support, resources, and inspiration as you conquer your limiting beliefs and pursue your purpose, go to elizabethnader.com/community. That's elizabethnader.com/community, or search for Master Your Mindset Academy private group on Facebook. Looking forward to seeing you online.